Hello everybody, this is Chris Bird or MonkeyDude1313, and this is a master set of Sword and Shield Crown Zenith. This is an absolutely beautiful set, the very last set of the Sword and Shield era, and I'm very excited to get into it, including the entire Galarian Gallery of 70 plus cards. Before I get into that though, last week's Master Set Monday was XY Base, featuring Mega Blastoise and Mega Venusaur, as well as quite a few nice full arts from that era. Highly recommend you go check it out. The week before that was a 44-minute gargantuan video, Sword Shield Hidden Fates, Shining Fates, one of the Fates, and not only did I go over that set, but I went over many of the sets that included baby shinies, and I included a ton of shinies from the entire history of the Pokemon TCG, from Neo Destiny all the way up to Modern. So if you want to go see not only Shining Fates, I believe it was Shining Fates, but most of the shinies from Pokemon TCG history, go check out that massive video. For this set though, we do have to jump into the Charizard Binder, but I am trying to limit the amount of jumping around I do because I've been getting kind of overly hyped about showing off other sets and cards in the video with the set. So we're just going to do Charizard today with my handy dandy French Dragonite bookmark. So without further ado, let's get into the set. This set was a special set. It was never released in booster boxes, and you could get packs through loose packs from a lot of stores that open product, out of ETBs, blister packs, etc. And it ended up being a very, very, very popular set. And I'll get into more why in a little bit, because the Galarian Gallery is pretty much the focal point of the set. But I did want to mention things like this Gloom. There is a Gloom from the early e-reader series that is laying on this exact branch, who is sleeping peacefully. So we got a 20-year conclusion to how that Gloom ended its very peaceful nap. But you'll have to go all the way back to look for that. I would personally look around the Expedition to Skyridge era if I were you. Alright, let's do the first page and get going. So we can already see 3 empty spots, and this is already where the Charizards come in. Page number 1. But we will keep it quick. Skipping all the way to this, we can see here that we have the Crown Zenith Half Art Charizard here. This guy. Beautiful, beautiful card. Card number 18. And then we have Charizard V-Star Half Art. Card number 19 from Crown Zenith. And we have Radiant Charizard here. Card number 20 from Crown Zenith. You'll notice that I have a gold fire energy here. That's because this Radiant Charizard actually has a play-stamped version of it, I think, or a Pokemon Day or something stamped version that I don't own yet. But we're actually also going to be pulling out this Charizard V-Star, but I will tell you why when we get there. So, for now, let's just put that guy to the side, along with French Dragonite, and we can take out these placeholder cards to finish these pages of the set. So, number 20, number 19, and number 18. Alright, so this is what the true second page of Crown Zenith looks like. Charizard V, V-Star, and Radiant Charizard in the set. So, not only does it tell you that there's some nice Charizards, but we have a few Radiants in the set to look out for. So we'll make sure to take a note and pause when we get there. But we're also featuring Leafeon and Glaceon in this set, 2 fan favorites. And let's keep on going. Water type's fairly small. There's the Glaceon, like I was mentioning. We got some very cute depictions of otherwise terrifying Pokemon, like this Lux right here. He is usually very angry, and now he's chilling, but we have really nice chill versions of all 3 of these starters. Not starters, all 3 Pokemon in this line. Very nice. Alright, and here's our first Radiant Charjabug. He is a shiny form of his normal Charjabug. As you can tell back here, Charjabugs are normally green. This one is red. Very cute, very interesting. I'm not exactly sure why they chose to give Charjabug a Radiant card instead of some other Pokemon, but maybe it's a fan favorite. I do know a lot of people like it for the meme. Interestingly, Zeraora down here got both a VMAX and a V-Star. I'll pull those out real quick, but you can see here the amazing art that Zeraora VMAX got, and then Zeraora V-Star up there, which I'm not going to bother to pull out, as you'll see later. Alright, moving right along the main set. Haturn, which I don't know. I don't think a lot of people are super into it, but of course the cat Pokemon Liepard, very nice. Rockruff Barking at the Moon over there, a nice tribute to Ozzy. And we're into the steals. It's some amazing cards here. And if I remember correctly, this next flip is wonderful because we get this left page here of a ton of shiny stuff. Rayquaza V, VMAX, and VMAX Rapid Strike. Actually, like a normal and a full art. They're the same cards, but two different pictures there. Let me pull those out and we can take a look. So we got the VMAX on the left and the VMAX on the right, but they're cards 101 and 102. They have the same attacks, just different arts. So that's pretty cool. But then below them we have Duraludon V and VMAX. We have the Radiant Eternatus. I can understand why they would give a shiny version, a radiant version of this guy. He is very, very fancy legendary that they actually don't give a lot of love to anymore. And we also have an EVV down here. EVVV. Many EVVVs. Holoditto, and then just normal Tauros down there. But this is quite a nice page. Regigigas over here. We got a knitted Snorlax. I really like this knitted art. This particular artist has been with the Pokemon Company for quite a while, and I really like the knitted work they do. Alright, moving on. We are now into the trainers. Something that I liked about this set is that the trainers here that have holo versions actually seem to have their signature on them. So I'll use this Leon as an example, and I'm believing that that is his signature there on the right. You can also see him here with Hop, presumably giving him the hat because Hop did a good job. Good job, Hop. All right, so here's the grand reveal for Crown Zenith, at least the first of them. So we got 5 full art trainers here, including 2 Friends of cards, and then we got 2 shiny energies here. I won't dwell too much on these, but these cards in particular show you what 2 generations of Pokemon this set is attempting to work with. So Friends and Hisui, this is from the Legends Arceus game, the very first one. So we have Adaman and Iridia and the 2 choices of player character. Very neat card. And then Friends and Sinnoh, Gen 4. And we got some great trainers on here as well. Love it, love it, love it. And of course you got to put Cynthia up there. Cynthia is very, very important in these kinds of things. All right, moving right along, the energies that I was mentioning, and we'll do the for real grand reveal of the Crown Zenith main set, which is 6 textured energies and a Pikachu. And what I will say is from the main set here, the only card that we didn't pull ourselves is this water energy here. Textured water energy. But the energies from this set are super cool because not only are they textured, but if I can shine the light on them in the correct way, you can see that there are Pokeballs and water energies there hidden in the background of the texture. Very, very neat. But really, the most important card from this set is the Pikachu. This Pikachu features a ton of other Pokemon that people really like. So, Crobat, Zacian, Zoroark Hisuian version, Inteleon, Calyrex Shadow Rider, and Urshifu. I'm guessing the Rapid Strike version, but with the little cloudies on its head, it may actually be Gigantamax Urshifu. Either way, this card is wonderful, and one of the better Pikachus in my opinion. It's got a very, very nice texture on it, as you can see. Overall, great card. And it is a secret rare, 160 out of 159. However, this is not what people are really looking for when they buy packs from this set. What they're actually looking for is the Galarian Gallery over here, which I have ordered very simply from Galarian Gallery 1 till the end. I have not done any rearranging, although I'll tell you why I wish I did in a moment here. So I'm going to pull out some of these, not necessarily all, but the cards in the Galarian Gallery were special cards in this set. A mini subset, like we saw in Legendary Treasures Radiant Collection way back in the day, or just a few sets before this, we were seeing Trainer Gallery cards and like Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest, etc. But these cards, full art IR cards, we didn't have illustration rares until Scarlet Violet, so these were kind of the testers for that, but they also feature a ton of other Pokemon in there. So let's pull out this Kricketune, which we purposely bought like 15 of because we love the art on this guy. It's got a Golbat here in the top left. Below it, it's got Bunnelby, sorry. We have Snom, we have more Baneri, we have some Wooloos laying down there, Shroomish, Komala, Stuffle, and then that is an Emolga, a Rufflet, more Emolgas back there. But as you can tell, there are a ton of featured Pokemon on this card. And many of the cards in the Galarian Gallery do the same, such as this Manaphy. This Manaphy features a bunch of water-type Pokemon, or Pokemon that would commonly hang around the sea. Bruxish, and a bunch of other Bruxish up there. We got a Pikipek flying above. We got some Wishy-Washy non-school form down there. Pyukumuku, a giant Wishy-Washy down there, and then, of course, the Manaphy in the middle. Very nice to get so many featured Pokemon. Oh, and of course, the Mariani that I almost forgot to mention there. Very, very cool. But then, not only that, but they did also choose to put some cards together. Not necessarily in terms of art, but in terms of the Pokemon featured. So both Magmortar and Electivire here feature each other, and on their card, they're showing off what they can do to the other Pokemon. On the Magmortar card, we see that he's lighting a fire, and Electivire is sitting there having a good time, quite chuffed about it. And on the other card, we have Electivire here showing off his lightning bolt and kind of spooking the Magmortar there. But I really like that they made these two Pokemon friends in these arts. Very, very neat. So like I said, I'm not going to pull out all of them because that would take quite a while, but we'll keep on going to one of the main grand reveals of Crown Zenith, which is this, a full spread of 18 Galarian Gallery cards. So this Mew and this Deoxys are some of the most sought after cards in the entire Galarian Gallery. So let's take a look at those. This Mew features a ton of Pokemon, and if you've been watching your favorite YouTube channel, Check the Box, you'll know that both Nidoran female and male are featured down here. We have a really, really sneaky Aerocuda down there, which unless you have the right light, you can't see them. You got some Squovent, some Alolan Ponyta, Rookidee, and then I think those are Cutie Flies, and Cramorant, and then Mew sleeping here with a partially eaten citrus berry. Very adorable. Very sought after card. Absolutely love the art on this guy. Then, skipping over the Lunatone, even though it does have a Loomis and Volbeat here chilling with it, is we do have Deoxys. And this was the last set that would feature single, rapid, or fusion strike types on a card. And of course, with Deoxys having 4 different forms, they decided to give them all 3 of the different strike types, which makes it very cool. So this Deoxys art is fantastic. It shows a bunch of like different lanterns and items. If you actually go through the Sword Shield era golden cards, you can figure out what each of these ones are. It would be fun for you guys to go and do that. I think that's quite neat. You know, we got a scroll and a horn and a lantern. I'll let you figure out which cards those ones actually are. But very cool there. All right, so I'm going to skip this entire page otherwise because I want to move on to some of the more textury stuff. But I can't skip over too much of this one because this Ditto looks like a Numel. And you know what? It might as well be a Numel. I absolutely love the art on this one, and it seems like a lot of people do, because for these non-textured IR-type cards from Crown Zenith Galarian Gallery, this one has held value very, very well. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me too much. Dittos, like the Dittos from Gen 3, hold a lot of value. Alright, so when I said that I ordered these by number, and I expressed some amount of bother about that, these two cards are one of the main reasons why. Riolu and Swablu are part of a 9-card art set that when you arrange it properly, they look really nice together. And with the way the numbering works, these two go with the next 7, which are on a completely separate page. So if I chose to, similar to what I did with Prismatic, I would go through and reorganize these a little bit. So remember those Riolu and Swablu as we do this grand reveal number 2. Those two go with all 7 of these. And you can tell by the directions they're looking and kind of like the very similar field kind of background pattern they're going for. They all work together very, very well. And if you own these cards, they're only a couple bucks each, but they just look fantastic. And so I think these are part of why people love not only opening Crown Zenith, but collecting it. Because you get so many really cool multiple card arts, and you get so many cool Pokemon featured in an otherwise small set. Quite fantastic. I will pull out the Pikachu here, which is the centerpiece. You imagine if we moved everything over to, this guy would go down to here, and it would be the centerpiece of the set. Makes complete sense. But this Pikachu is wonderful. Absolutely love this Pikachu, hiding itself under this giant leaf. Very nice. Okay, but now, here's what you guys have really been waiting for. All the crazy cool textured stuff. So I think we got 10 V-Stars, and we got 9 Vs, and we got like 4 VMAXs, I think. I think that's about the spread here. But the V-Stars, the VMAXs, and the Vs are all textured in the Galarian Gallery, and let's go through each of them one at a time. We'll start here with Leafeon V-Star, laying on a bench, surrounded by nature. Obviously a very Leafeon-themed card, but that card is just gorgeous. Yet another one of the Leafeon cards that we liked so much, we bought it twice. Moving on, we have Entei here. Entei got his set with this Suicune and Raikou here. So we got all 3 of the legendary dogs from Gen 2, and he is standing here yelling at a volcano. Is he causing the volcano to erupt? Is he upset that it's erupting? Is he howling with it as if it's a partner? I have no clue. But either way, Entei's here having a good time with a volcano in the background, looking quite nice. Alright, moving along. I have some fun facts about this card. Fun fact number 1 is, despite me hating Simisear, I love this card. I don't hate Simisear that much. You know, it's a Pokemon and I like all Pokemon, but at the same time, Simisear is like bottom 20 Pokemon for me. I just never really jived with the monkeys, and I never really jived with Salon, Cress, and whoever the third one is, named after the seasonings. But this artist and this art really made me appreciate both Pansear and Simisear. You know, we can see a bunch of Pansears dancing and being derpy around here. The other fun fact, though, is that this artist has literally only drawn one Pokemon card ever, and it's this one. So, unfortunately, if you're like me and you loved the art style and you loved how they drew Pokemon, this is the only art they've ever done for the TCG. I wish they would bring this person back. I love this art a lot, and I think having a set that had multiple of these, or at least gave them more of it, more exposure, would be very nice. But I absolutely love this card despite disliking Simisear. Moving on, Suicune V, as I mentioned, along with Entei. People love to grade these 3 sequentially and try to get sequential 10s. These are some of the search cards for people when they're trying to get graded sets, or even just binder pages that look nice together. Very nice. Alright, another underappreciated Pokemon, Lumineon. I absolutely love the way they did the art on this one. Just small Lumineon in the middle, highlighted just by the natural depth of where this is from. You can imagine that we're at the very, very bottom of like a pit in the ocean, and we're looking up towards the surface, and Lumineon is swimming up there. Or you can view it that we're sideways from the Lumineon, and that's the end of a tunnel, and we're in the dark part of a tunnel. And, you know, depends on how you want to view it. But if you look a little closer, you can see that we have a Chinchou and a Lantern there, along with the Lumineon in this card work. So, honorary evolution. This artwork does it justice. Alright, speaking of evolutions, Glaceon V-Star. Absolutely fantastic art on this one. Relatively straightforward, but the inclusion of these snow-covered branches in the foreground makes it very nice. Not too much for me to say on this one, but just lovely art on the Glaceon. Alright, the last of the 3 legendary dogs, we have Raikou V here. Zip Zap Cat, going super duper fast. Absolutely love it. I think this is my favorite of the 3 legendary dogs from this set, even though Fire is my favorite type and Lightning is my second favorite type. So I think Raikou beats out Entei in this case. Moving right along, Zeraora VMAX. This is another one that we bought about 18 copies of because they look fantastic together on a page. As I've mentioned in the Evolving Skies Master set, which you should definitely check out if you're interested, whenever they have a VMAX Pokemon, they can make it really, really big, and then they can have a bunch of small Pokemon featured in the art with it, where it kind of shows off the VMAX Pokemon size, but also lets you include a bunch of other cute Pokemon. So, the really obvious one here is that we have a Purchasero here on the head. Purchasero. We have a Purchasey here on the head. We have a tiny Togedemaru over there, biting the fluff or trying to climb up, who knows. And then here we have an Emolga, chilling, having a good time laying in the fluff. And what I'm presuming is that these electric mice Pokemon find it very comfortable to lay in the electric fluff of a Zeraora. Awesome. Love it, love it. And are you guys excited for Mega Zeraora coming out soon? I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of Zeraora, we have Zeraora V-Star here. And instead of looking very fluffy and cute and being nice to lots of small Pokemon, we have a very aggressive Zeraora here. Kind of hard to tell the scene that he's in, but it looks like he's in the front of a bunch of electrical equipment, having a great time. I can't really tell personally if he's destroying it or if he's jamming out with it, but by the fact that this screen is broken and there's a bunch of stuff that's obviously in disarray, I'm assuming that he's having a good time destroying it. Fun. All right, so next up, probably one of the most expensive cards, outside of a few specific ones, is the Mewtwo V-Star. Not only does this card feature Mewtwo in a great battle scene, but we can see in the background it's fighting a Charizard here. And I will get to that in just a moment, or if you recall from the beginning of the episode. But on this card, aside from featuring those two Pokemon, we are also featuring a Tangrowth in the back there. He has been thrown out. He's not sure what he's doing anymore. And then up here, we have a Diglett doing the same thing. So, Diglett and Tangrowth caught in the crossfire of a battle between Mewtwo and Charizard. So, before we get too far past that, we will return to the Charizard that I pulled out of the Charizard Binder earlier, and we see Charizard this time, fighting a Mewtwo. And if we look up here, we can see there's a Tangrowth. Not having a great time, looks like he's fallen down a waterfall. And then if we zoom in down here, we see a Diglett not having a great time either. So what it seems like is that this attack happened before the previous one, and after this big Mewtwo X-Ball perhaps hit, then the Diglett and Tangrowth went flying. But that is a wonderful pair of cards to put together. This one happened to be a promo in a Charizard UPC, and this one came directly from the set. All right, so I'm going to go a little bit faster through these now, because we have quite a few more to get through. This Deoxys defense form has an Orbeetle here, looking like he's tractor beaming the Deoxys up. Very neat. And another grand reveal from Crown Zenith. This one, a lot of great cards on this page, and these trainers are where some people fall off and where some people get really excited. We will get there in a moment. So, pulling out this Deoxys V-Star, we just saw the defense form Deoxys with an Orbeetle. This is the attack form Deoxys. And I don't think there are any other Pokemon on this. It is just in a very cool attacking pose after performing a Star Force, I'm guessing. Lovely, lovely card. Absolutely love this artwork. All right, skip over those two, even though this artwork is sick. And I'm going to pull out this Drapion. Why would I pull out a Drapion instead of a Zacian? Well, this card was drawn, painted. Nope, this one was sculpted in clay by Yukimori, a fan favorite artist, up there with Shinji Kanda, Mitsuhiro Arita, and a few other artwork creators for the Pokemon TCG. And her work has really stood the test of time. And there are hundreds of cards featuring pictures of her clay art. And if you want to, you can actually go and look at the actual clay models she made to make this artwork possible. Absolutely love it. I would highly recommend it, and I would love to actually do it myself. I recommend it because I saw pictures of it online, and I would like to go. So, Yukimori, very, very popular, and got to do a Drapion V in Crown Zenith set. All right, I'm going to pull out the Darkrai real quick, just to showcase how awesome the artwork is. Darkrai is usually shown in the middle of an action pose, doing something dark and spooky. This time he's just kind of standing there, menacingly. Kind of like Patrick from SpongeBob recognizes, but absolutely love this artwork. It puts Darkrai in an otherwise somewhat serene, pre-destroying phase. Very cool. Samurott V has an amazing background here, very like serene art style. Samurott V-Star, though, if we were to pull this guy out, we can see that he is being menacing, or maybe merciless, with this Snorunt right in front of him, emanating a lot of dark, spooky energy, and being the Hisuian Samurott he was born to be from the Legends Arceus game, of course. Very cool. All right, we got Hoopa. This is the Unbound form, sitting on a bunch of treasure. We got the Zamazenta to go with the Zacian here. These guys look very, very nice with each other. Regigigas V-Star, similar to this Darkrai, where they just kind of show him standing there in the middle, being relatively cool. And then Hisuian Zoroark V-Star. This card, I think, is criminally underrated. Not only is the artwork on this card absolutely fantastic, but collecting binder copies of this guy is fantastic. and I have a little bit of a thing to say about that. The first version of this card we bought had a giant crease up here, and we had no idea. I was a little naive at the time. I decided at the end of a deal, just kind of pick it out, throw it into something to try and sweeten the deal a little bit, and I didn't realize at the time that it had a giant crease up there. But the fact that it had a giant crease and I didn't notice tells me that some of these textured cards, especially art that is like really stylized like this, can hide damage really, really, really well. So if you want to collect a very cool card like this, you can do it a lot cheaper and still have a wonderful binder copy on your hands. But this artwork is stunning. Absolutely love this art. I would hang this on the wall in my house. All right, so bunch of trainers here. I'm only going to pull out a few of them, but they feature characters from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Both these two, for example. We have characters from Sinnoh, and we have characters from the Sword Shield base, meaning Sword Shield era. But the card I want to pull out is, of course, the fan favorite, Cynthia. Finally, a card with Cynthia that does not have Garchomp. It instead has Garchomp's younger brother, Gastrodon. Not actually younger brother, but, Cynthia has a ground-type Pokemon, I suppose, so, let's throw her with a Gastrodon down there. But card featuring Cynthia, very popular. All right, and the final of the grand reveals from the Galarian Gallery, arguably the best one, we have all 4 of the Golden Gods. Not only do these arts work together wonderfully, but these are the most sought-after cards in the set, both value-wise and looks-wise, and generally people go really, really ham for these guys. So I will pull them out one at a time, and you can take a nice look. Origin Form Palkia V-Star. So instead of the chunky, just kind of sitting around Palkia that we're all used to, this one got a glorious set of horse legs and is now leaping through space and time. Absolutely beautiful artwork on this. And as you can see on the right side here, we've got like a mountain down here, and we've got a big explosion, and then we've got another mountain heading up here. If we pull out the Dialga V-Star, we can see similarly, aside from standard Dialga, we've got a majestic pair of horse legs, and now Origin Form Dialga is looking absolutely beautiful. Again, mountain with some explosions, another mountain back here. Very, very nice art. Then the third up is Giratina V-Star, and this is where things start to get really interesting. Giratina here seems to be like in the midst of a bunch of hanging stuff that's really kind of hard to tell what it is. It looks like it's in front of a big melting tree, and down here we got a big sway, like magma flow of whatever is coming out from back here. And finally, we have Arceus, the god Pokemon. Arceus V-Star standing here right on the tippy top of a mountain with an aura of energy around it. Absolutely beautiful. There are many ways you can display these 4 cards together, or any combination of these cards, and have it look absolutely stunning. So, we were very happy when we pulled both the Arceus and the Giratina ourselves, and only needed to pick up the Palkia and Dialga afterwards. Alright, so that is Crown Zenith main set and Crown Zenith Galarian Gallery. In order to prove it's a master set, we gotta have all the reverses, and let's flip through those. As I always say though, as we're going through the reverses, pay attention to your bulk. There are so many cards in this set with absolutely fantastic art that you would just completely miss if you were not paying attention to it. So, like I mentioned earlier in the video, look at that Shinx. That is so, so cute. Who would not want a Shinx playing with their magazine while they're drinking coffee and eating cookies? Well, I'll let cat owners answer that question. I'm a cat owner myself, but I will let cat owners answer that question and see, were you actually trying to read that magazine? Who knows? But as we keep going through, pay attention to your bulk. There's so much fantastic artwork in here, and it's just a shame to miss so much of this good stuff. So as we flip through here, you notice there's no EXs, got that knitted Snorlax again, and as we get here to the end of the set, we are done with Crown Zenith Master Set. not just the main set, but also including the absolutely glorious Galarian Gallery. Absolutely love this set. This is one of my favorite sets of all time. And that's difficult for me to say because I am a huge fan of the oldest of old vintage. Shadowless first set is like way tippy top for me, but this set is absolutely peak. I don't know how this set could be anything less than perfection. So, what is your favorite card from the Galarian Gallery? What is your favorite card from Crown Zenith? Is there a specific card that you've really been hunting for? Or did you choose to collect some of these guys as a subset because they look really well together in a binder? Either way, let me know in the comments. And if you have an idea for another set, post it down in the comments below, and I will feature it on another Master Set Monday or Wishlist Wednesday. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.